The House will come to order. The pledge today is by Max Vogan from Red Rocks Community College in Lakewood, Colorado.
Good morning. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Randall, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Becker J, Becker K, Beckman, Benavidez, Bridges, Buck, Buckner, Carver, Catlin, Coleman, Covarrubias, Danielson. Good morning. Escar, Everett, Exum, Foote, Garnett, Janal, Gray, Hamner excused, Hanson, Herod, Hooten, Humphrey, Jackson, Kennedy, Kraft Tharp, Landgraf, Lawrence, Lebsock, Lee, Leonard, Lewis, Liston, Lontine, Lundeen, McKean, McLaughlin, Melton, Representative Melton, Michelson Cheney, Mitch Bush, Navarro, Neville, Representative Neville, Nordberg, Pabon, Pedersen, Rankin, Ransom, Rosenthal, Sane, Salazar, Sias, Singer, Representative Singer.
Excused.
Thurlow, Valdez,
Good morning, Colorado.
Van Winkle, Weissman, Willett, Williams, Representative Williams, Wilson, Winter, Wist, Young. Madam Speaker.
Present.
I've got business present. It said here.
With 63 present and 2 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Beckman.
Madam Speaker, I move the reading of the Journal of Tuesday, January 24th, 2017 be dispensed and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. Thank you.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. The motion passes. Announcements and introductions. Representative Valdez.
Good morning, members. We have a county in the state of Colorado, Costilla County, that has been declared a state of disaster. With snow and high winds, Costilla County has declared a disaster yesterday. Centennial School District is closed today and will be closed tomorrow, with high winds are causing snow drifts as high as 10 to 15 feet in some places. And we want to make sure our citizens are safe and accounted for. Costilla County officials have called in assistance from other jurisdictions within the San Luis Valley, as well as state resources, to work on clearing roads and checking on the safety of the residents who may be homebound or stuck due to snow and in need of help. This is a disaster in my home, not in my home county, but my neighboring county. Now, if there's residents that are stuck in their home, I pray for them, that they're safe. Thank you.
Representative Valdez, would you like to take a moment of silence?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to take a moment of silence at this time.
All right, let's take a moment of silence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Valdez. Any further announcements or introductions? Representative Landgraf, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Today is the Behavioral Health Caucus. We are going to be talking about mental health holds, the task force, the recommendations, and the implications. As you know, mental health is a pretty important topic in Colorado, and hopefully you will come. Lunch will be served at first come, first served basis. It's 12 o'clock in SCR 357 upstairs. So again, that's the Behavioral Health Caucus, Representative Wilson and Becker and Catlin. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to announce that upon adjournment, the Joint Ag Committee will meet in room 271. See you there.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
Honor to serve with you too. Sorry, I was multitasking up here.
I didn't look up there. House Transportation Energy Committee folks, please listen up. Everybody else, you don't have to unless you want to. Today at 1:30 in House Hearing Room 0112, we will be hearing our first bills for this session. The first one is Carver and Mitch Bush, hearings on Transportation Commission districts, and the second one is Mitch Bush and Liston, extend voter approval window for RTA mill levy. Also, just so you know, members of Transportation and Energy, we do not have a meeting tomorrow upon adjournment. Thank you.
Representative Lantine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Lundeen, for being such a gentleman. Good morning, everyone. This is to let you guys know that Friday is Military Appreciation Day, if you haven't seen or heard anything about this. Many of you who are veterans here on the floor of this and know how the process works, you know what to look forward to. New members, Friday is the day we recognize the service of our military and remember our veterans. And in addition, before our floor recognition, there's also breakfast in the west foyer and around the first floor. We'll have tables set up from different organizations, including members of the defense industry, Division of Veterans Affairs, and other organizations related to military and veterans. I invite you to join them, visit their tables, learn about all of these great organizations, and have a good cup of coffee and some breakfast before we start our festivities on the floor. So thank you, and if you have any questions, please see me.
Representative Lundin.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow representatives, on your desk you have a beautiful yellow scarf, as I'm modeling for you up here right now. The scarf comes to you every year, or at least it has every year as long as I've been serving in this body, to celebrate the National School Choice Week. Tomorrow at 11:30, we will have a rally on the west steps of the Capitol celebrating all of Colorado's amazing schools. Thank you, Representative Rankin. Beautiful scarf. We'll be celebrating all of the choices of schooling that students have in Colorado. Our MC for the event, thank you very much. Anybody else want to come on down with the yellow scarf? You're certainly welcome. Our MC for the event will be Rodolfo Jose Cardenas. I welcome you all to come out and join us tomorrow at noon on the west steps of the Capitol to celebrate National School Choice. Wear your scarf. Be in style.
Any further announcements or introductions? Representative Hansen.
Right. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. A pleasure to serve with you.
Pleasure to serve with you too.
Fellow members, I'm asking to be excused on Friday, January 27th, having received permission from the leadership.
You are excused.
Thank you.
Any further announcements or introductions? Going once. Going twice. Any further announcements or introductions? Okay, seeing none. Majority Leader Becker. The next order of business on the calendar is consideration of resolutions. Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I bring before you HJR 17-1004, a House Joint Resolution concerning funding for the prevention
Yes.
of...
Representative Mitch Bush, you do need to move it, but Mr. Randall needs to read the title first. Mr. Randall.
House Joint Resolution 1004 by Representative Mitch Bush, also Senator Baumgardner, concerning funding for the prevention of aquatic nuisance species in Colorado.
Representative Mitch Bush, would you like to move the HJR? Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move HJR 17-1004, a House Joint Resolution concerning funding for the prevention of aquatic nuisance species in Colorado.
Okay. Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This resolution came out of the Water Resources Review Committee, which is an interim committee. It is a resolution which, as you can see, asks for help from the federal government. Why is this important? Aquatic nuisance species present us with an incredible risk, both to our lakes.
Representative Mitch Bush, hold on just one moment. Members, please take your seats. We're listening to a resolution. Representative Mitch Bush, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll repeat, Madam Speaker, I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. I will repeat that. The reason for this resolution, which was a resolution approved by the Water Resources Review Committee, an interim committee, it has bipartisan support in both houses, is that aquatic nuisance species present a major, major threat, not only to our lakes, but also to our water supply utilities. Quagga mussels and zebra mussels may seem like some kind of eating treat, but they're not. They are extremely invasive. If they get into our lakes, they will cover outlets from water utilities into our lakes and reservoirs. We have a very robust testing, checkpoint, and decontamination program in Colorado. We are very lucky that we were able to eradicate the few that were around, the few of these invasive species that were around over a decade ago. We have been extremely successful in keeping them out of our lakes and rivers. If you look at the whereases, you will see the multi-jurisdictional nature of this effort that is spearheaded by Colorado Parks and Wildlife. You will also see some of the threats, and you will also see that more than 100 out-of-state watercraft with zebra or quagga mussels, and that's on page 3, have been intercepted in Colorado due to our very robust inspection program. So what this resolution asks of the federal government is that our federal partners help us with funding. We have limited funding. We only have the ability to inspect so many boats, and this is absolutely critical, both for our utilities, because it will cost them tens of millions of dollars for every one of them if these species get established. And that has been the case in other states that don't have robust inspection programs. Their utilities, their water utilities, have suffered greatly.
Representative McKean.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a pleasure working with you.
Pleasure to work with you as well.
I move Amendment L002 to this resolution, and it will add, and can we see it displayed on the screen? It will add language considering the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and asking to be included the United States Coast Guard in funding opportunities. As a vessel examiner for the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, I've actually done these inspections. I've seen some of the small little boogers that get into our state. And if we're going to ask for help with funding, why don't we ask everybody? I urge a yes vote on this amendment.
HJR 1004 has been properly moved and displayed. Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Representative. I too urge a yes vote on this amendment to the resolution.
Great. Question before the body is the adoption of HJR 1004-L002. All in those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. The amendment passes. We are back to the underlying motion, the passage of the resolution. Representative, any further comments, questions? Okay, seeing none, the question is the adoption of HJR 1004 as amended. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. That motion passes. Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would ask that this morning's roll call be added as co-sponsors for this resolution.
Seeing no objection, this morning's roll call will be added as co-sponsors for Resolution HJR 1004. Mr. Randall.
Senate Joint Resolution 2 by Senators Baumgardner and Merrifield, also Representatives Singer and Thurlow, concerning the Colorado General Assembly's support for the continued research, development, and application of biochar from our forests.
Thank you, Mr. Randall. Representative Thurlow and Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, members. I move Senate Joint Resolution 17-002 and ask that it be read at length.
Whereas, biochar is a solid material obtained when organic matter is heated in an oxygen-limited environment, and whereas biochar production is modeled after terra preta, Portuguese for dark earth, a process used thousands of years ago in Brazil's Amazon basin, where indigenous people created islands of rich, fertile soils that continue to hold carbon today and remain nutrient-rich, and whereas biochar has been used as a reforestation tool by the United States Forest Service in our national forests, and whereas biochar is a solid material obtained when organic matter... Whereas treatments to thin forests decrease fuel loads and clear out insect and disease-killed trees can be expensive because there are currently few markets for small roundwood and virtually no markets for residual materials such as tops and limbs, and many timber sales are judged by potential bidders to be economically infeasible. And whereas biochar provides a potential economic use of woody biomass that can help offset fuel reduction project costs, which means more acres can be treated, and whereas removing excess forest biomass for use as a resource for biochar can minimize the number of severity of wildfires and thereby save dollars and lives. And whereas biochar stores carbon in the ground that may otherwise be released into the atmosphere from wildfires. And whereas biochar can be produced from whole trees, such as the lodgepole and ponderosa pine found in Colorado forests, and can also be made from residual materials and insect and disease-killed trees. And whereas the USFS has been researching the use of biochar as a soil amendment, including ongoing research on soil test plots by station scientists at the Rocky Mountain Research Station in Fort Collins, Colorado, and has found that several potential applications and markets exist for biochar, including use for reforestation treatments. And whereas the Agricultural Research Service of the United States Department of Agriculture also conducts research on the use and application of biochar as a soil amendment, and whereas USFS studies have found that biochar in soil attracts and holds water, increases ion exchange capacity, makes soil more porous, and enhances absorption of organic compounds, all of which enhance soil productivity and facilitate plant growth to reduce erosion and restore compacted, oxidized, and degraded soils, such as those that exist after devastating wildfires. And whereas the ARS has found that the addition of biochar to soils may increase soil carbon, soil nutrient content, and plant productivity, and that the quality of biochar is important to achieve these results. And whereas biochar can be used in filters, such as those used in water treatment facilities and well-established markets, exist for activated carbon, and whereas energy in electrical, thermal, and liquid fuel forms can be an important co-product of biochar production from forest residues, and whereas biochar as a raw material can be further processed into an engineered biocarbon that will be valuable in production agriculture and forestry, as well as in turf, nursery, and environmental applications, and whereas biochar can reduce the cost and increase of nutritional value of food, and whereas Colorado is a national leader in the advancement of biochar research and development, and whereas biochar can increase the economic value and productivity of Colorado soils and benefit Colorado farmers by reducing expenditures for fertilizer and irrigation, and whereas biochar can enhance rural economic development and employment in both the production and placement of biochar. An example, Forest to Farms programs. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 71st General Assembly of the State of Colorado, with the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, support the United States Forest Service, the Agricultural Research Service to the United States Department of Agriculture, and other research into the removal of fuel loads on the forest floor for the creation of biochar and the use of biochar as a soil amendment for reforestation, the continued creation of biochar from woody biomass found in our forests, and the use of biochar as a soil amendment within our forests and farms, towns, and cities to assist with reforestation treatments. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to Governor John Hickenlooper, the Rocky Mountain Research Station of the United States Forest Service, State Forester Mike Lester, Action Region 2 Regional Forester Jock Buchanan, United States Forest Service Deputy Chief for State and Private Forestry Jim Hubbard, Commissioner of Agriculture Don Brown, Agricultural Research Service Plains Area Director Lawrence Chandler, and each member of Colorado's congressional delegation.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Randall, for reading your first resolution at length. Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, please be seated. And yes, thank you to our reader. I'm glad we finally had a chance to break you in a little bit. And I never knew you'd be saying the words woody biomass so often, but here we are. And also, a special thank you to the Wildfire Matters Review Committee and everyone who took the time to come out across Colorado. When we think about wildfire, we think about our wildland-urban interface, but truly, this is an issue that affects the entire state of Colorado. This affects our lives, this affects our economy, this affects our tourist industry. And this issue and this resolution here goes to the heart of all of those things. When you talk about saving lives, innovating an industry, increasing tourism, and at the same time actually creating a new private industry, this is what biochar is about. This is what we can do to create a healthier economy, a healthier environment, and hopefully at the end of the day actually save human life by reducing the number of wildfire fatalities in the state of Colorado. This isn't a Democratic or Republican issue. We traveled basically from Fort Collins down to Pueblo. We were out on as far west as you could basically get. This is an issue that goes from Prowers to Paonia, folks, and this helps everybody. So let's take a second out of our day, and I thank you for your indulgence, to look at what we can accomplish not only as a state but as innovators. This is what this resolution will do. I hope you share this with your constituents as you're coming back. When you talk about letters to Santa Claus, this isn't one of them. Because what this actually does is shows that the state of Colorado is behind an industry and a science that will do the right thing for our community, regardless of what district you represent. And then you can go to your local, well, I won't do any free advertisement, but your local home goods store and actually buy some of this and actually use it for your garden. So the next time your neighbor comes by and compliments you on your excellent flowers, lawn, and potted plants, you can thank biochar.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. I won't belabor the point. I just ask for an aye vote because biochar helps prevent forest fires, creates jobs, and you can fertilize your vegetable garden with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of SJR 002. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. All of those opposed signify by saying no. SJR 002 is passed. Representative Thurlow.
Madam Speaker, I ask that the morning roll call be made co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call will be made co-sponsors. That is all that we have on the calendar today. Going back to announcements and introductions, are there further announcements and introductions? Going once, going twice. All right, Representative Foote for an announcement and introduction. Or introduction.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is an announcement about State Veterans and Military Affairs. We're meeting this afternoon in LSBA. We're going to hear two bills, House Bill 1013 by Representative Humphrey and Williams, as well as House Bill 1014, Representatives Rosenthal and Williams in that order. Starting this afternoon, 1:30, State Affairs, LSBA. Thank you.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, again, I'm announcing the Restorative Justice Lunch and Learn for next Monday. I invite you all to come and learn about this amazing process to transform our criminal justice system. There will be lunch served. Please make a reservation. We'll be, you got these on your desk a couple of days ago. We're trying to get a head count of people that are going to be there. But this is an opportunity to learn from the people that are doing it across the state. The State Restorative Justice Council will be downstairs telling you everything you want to know about restorative justice. Thank you.
Representative Esker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just an announcement that the regularly scheduled Capital Development Committee meeting tomorrow morning will not be happening. We won't have a meeting tomorrow. We will come again together on Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. Thank you.
Any further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. Representative Crafthorpe? No? Okay. Seeing no announcements and introductions, Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess till 1:30 today.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until 1:30 today.